World War I propaganda in the U.S. started well before America entered into the war. The preparedness movement, anchored by past President Theodore Roosevelt, urged Americans for involvement in the European conflict and pressured the Wilson administration to prepare for war. Arguably, the greatest piece of American propaganda is often mistaken to have originated during the war. But the face and pointy finger of good old Uncle Sam, a self-portrait of its illustrator James Montgomery Flagg, was actually created for a cover of a magazine in July of 1916, titled, "What Are You Doing for Preparedness?" The artwork was repurposed in 1917 for the mobilization of U.S. troops, and by 1918, it had become the most famous poster in the world, with over 4 million copies distributed worldwide. As Wilson faced America's inevitable entry into the war, he appointed George Creel to create and head up the Committee on Public Information, with a budget of $1,250,000 allotted by Congress, and even more given through the President's Fund. Creel and the CPI set out to build a propaganda media machine that had no equal. The committee targeted every audience that they could think of to gain every type of support they could get. With 13 million immigrants absorbed into the United States in the previous 2 decades, the CPI reminded them of their first thrill of freedom. 75,000 volunteers were mustered across the nation to give 4-minute war effort speeches in public venues, earning them the title of 4-Minute Men. The CPI were responsible for the creation and distribution of posters, pamphlets, sheet music, and even films. Soon, songs like "Over There" rang out through the streets. Hollywood's biggest stars in the silent era promoted Liberty loans, and magazines such as Life were continually running articles and ads for Herbert Hoover's Waste Not, Want Not food campaign. Soon, Americans of every age and from every part of society were being called on to support the war effort. At this time in America, it was not just unpopular to be unpatriotic. It was completely unacceptable. Propaganda, such as Spies and Lies and Loose Lips Sink Ships, discouraged idle war gossip. Volunteers, such as the American Protective League, performed slacker raids, where they stormed factories, union halls, and even private homes in an effort to flush out draft dodgers. Even more extreme were the Espionage Act of 1917 and the Sedition Act of 1918, allowing legal prosecution of foreign radicals and dissenting U.S. citizens who publicly stood out against the war. Over 1,000 people were convicted and imprisoned or fined up to $10,000. And so it was that with every voice that would proclaim an anti-war agenda silenced, and a platform given to the hard work and ingenuity of the United States' greatest artistic patriots, an unparalleled impact was made to unite all Americans in a new sense of national pride that would echo far beyond the last battles of World War I.